The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 24th day of April, 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, and Linda's. I'm Jamal Hartman. She, Sherry Vanderpool, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her Monday morning extended news break, brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sister Sherry.
Good morning.
You know,
oh God,
I'm just saying, folks. Sherry on a Friday and a Monday, you know what that means.
Trouble.
She loves me. She loves me. She loves me. I mean, can you blame her? She's just like,
no, I love the audience. I love
no, honey. She said, no, honey, I'm gonna wake up. I'm getting with my boy this morning. You know, it's been too long. So,
my God.
Hey, Sister Sherry.
Hi, Jamal. Feel like
Nice
I just talked to you just a few hours ago.
Yeah. I was up past my bedtime, and
way past.
Yeah, I only got about 5 hours sleep. I don't know if it was my body not adjusting, or the NBA playoffs distracted me, or just somebody pissing me off. You know how that goes. But hey, I was up. How was your weekend? You do anything fun?
Oh, I had a full situation, Jamal. Like it was a lot going on this weekend for myself as I'm preparing for some guests to come today. So I'm super excited. I always love, Bermudians come to visit your best friends. Like it's about to be a whole turn up week. So I was doing that. I feel like it was something in on Friday, but Saturday I went to Fit and Sips. Remember, so that was like trying on hats and drinking wine. So that was really fun. It would be right up Jamal's alley, this whole little event. And then yesterday I went to support one of our Bermudians that lives out here, Miss Sia Spence. She associated
out here. She means Atlanta.
Atlanta. Our audience knows where I am.
Oh, I'm just saying. I forget where you are sometimes, out in the country somewhere.
You forget where you are.
Yeah.
She was an associate producer on a film called Little Brother, and it's playing at the Atlanta Film Festival. And yesterday was the premiere, and it definitely something you must go see. It tackles mental health. And it was really, really, really good, Jamal. It's really good. So I believe there was other Bermudians in the audience. Of course, I didn't see them. But shout out to all that went to support her on this big event.
Congratulations to Sia. And folks, me and championing people, especially Bermudians outside Bermuda, around the world, doing their thing. It's great to see. And hopefully this is the first of many. That we see her name in the credits, and props to her. Maybe see other people grow. And she's been on the show before. So,
but let me tell you this real quick, Jamal. I meant to try to take a picture of her name in the credits. Epic fail. It came up, and then I went to press the button. My light came on. People turned around. I was like, sorry, like a real auntie sister trying to get it. It was a loser moment. I was like, see my bad.
Well. Don't worry, Sia. We know you were there, regardless of whether Sherry got captured the moment or not. Morning to you as well, Tanya Cheeseman. Happy Monday to all of you. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we discuss Bermuda's declining birth rate before focusing on a few Media Maya exclusives, folks. So Mondays, we always have the extended news break to bring you up to speed with some things that you just won't know if you didn't watch the Daily Hour. The Daily Players are Who Said It.
Oh gosh, this is
Yeah.
why I don't do Mondays.
Yeah.
Where's Sancha? Like this isn't Monday is her day?
Santa took the day off. She took the day off. So it's you and I. Don't I know, Sherry. You're like, man, I missed them. I gotta get back after Friday. But anyway, folks, don't forget to subscribe to our website, dailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. So let's just jump right into it. So there were some stories. Let's just go back to last October. There was a report in the Royal Gazette that a report showed steep fall in resident population. And obviously, there are people leaving, but the article begins, the island's resident population fell by more than 200 people between 2020 and 2021, with a growing number of deaths and fewer births. Well, it probably dropped more than that with the amount of people leaving the island. Sherry during that time as well, by the way. Not throwing her under the bus. I'm just saying she did, and she took somebody with her. You know what I'm saying? So that's two people there to the 200. So I'm just saying. But folks, a decline in birth rate, as Don Burgess reported in the Bermuda last week. Number of births continued to decline in 2022, according to Don Burgess on Bermuda. Said Bermuda's number of births continued to decline in 2022. Government confirmed there were just 481 births, which broke the previously recorded low of 494 from 2021. This was a decline in 2.6% for 2022. So if you look at the trajectory, pretty much from, I want to say 2000, it's been pretty much trending the same. But this is a big conversation in social media circles. This is huge among young people, older people as well. So the question is very simple. We did ask on our Instagram, and we'll go through some of the responses as well. But how can Bermuda address its decline in births? What are your thoughts? How do we go about addressing this? Now, let's be clear. Bermuda's not the only country dealing with this. There are many countries that are dealing with a decline in births. They're looking at ways to grow their populations. But how can Bermuda address its decline in births? What are your thoughts, folks? Let us know, because this is something that, if you look at China, I know China had the one-child rule for a long time, and now that's actually catching up with them, apparently, because they just don't have the people for the labor, right? Mm-hmm. So this is something I think we all should take a bit seriously. Something we need to figure out. And it seems like the responses on Instagram were extremely consistent, and we'll go through them in a bit. But what are your thoughts? How can Bermuda address its decline in births? What are your thoughts?
So as you're sitting here talking, Jamal, I'm like, what is different that happened in like 1950 or 1960 when families were having lots and lots of children? Even with the economy being a certain way, there was a lot of things working against many, I would say, Black Bermudians back then, but we still had a lot of children. And when we look at what's going on now, there is so much stuff going on. And it's a wonder why we still don't have people having children, lots of children. So my thoughts is like, it's a community approach as to why. Like the biggest thing for me is cost of living. In speaking to many people that I do know who have one child, they look at other people and say, how is it that somebody is doing this with 2 and 3 children? When you look at the cost of living, people are having a hard time just meeting the basic needs of food, clothing, shelter. And if you're finding that to be hard for yourself, imagine you trying to do that for a child. Mm-hmm. And then also, you're like, oh, the child needs a sibling, or you want a child to have a sibling. Then you add in, but you can't even meet their basic needs. So it's really the cost of living. Out of all of that, the cost of living, I think, is a huge one. I understand that that's how things can go, but we got to find a way to break it in order for us to get what we need.
But
European
you
countries
said something earlier that really should make people think. You know, many of our grandparents
had two families.
yeah, I mean, see how she is, folks.
Two families.
I mean, it's just being honest. I mean, they did, but they had a lot of children, right? It wasn't easy to live back then. Let's be honest, especially for Black people. They were up against it, right? But they found ways, whether that was working multiple jobs or growing their own food, building family homes or whatnot. Now, obviously, the economy has changed. Things are very different today. You know, it's always fascinating when people say, oh, well, I built my house, this and that, and as if young people can't. Well, there's a lot of differences between then and now. Cost versus, you know, what people are making. The gaps are just much wider than they were back then. But I want to go to Instagram because we did ask the question, what's your solution to Bermuda's decline in birth rate? And the responses were consistent, but we'll go through quite a few of them. One response said more community effort in every aspect, food, education, skill building to mentoring. Another said drastically decrease the cost of living. Another said longer paid maternity leave for moms and dads. Interesting. Another one said better paid parental leaves. Look at European countries, not the US, and child care subsidy. Well, you can't look at the US. The US is one of the worst two countries in the world when it comes to parental leave.
One state I think does quite well with it. I believe, I think it's California actually, that does very well with maternity leave.
Sense. Yeah, that would make sense. Federally, though, the U.S. is one of the worst countries in the world. What are your solutions to Bermuda's decline in birth rate? Some more responses. We got work on lower cost of living, balance versus salaries. Another says affordable living. People can't afford to live. Why bring a child into this depressing existence? Another says reduced cost of living and make it more attractive for Bermudians build a family. Another says I am part of the problem, but I won't be breeding until I get married. Another says people pay people to start breeding. I mean, we're talking about people, not animals. Well, we are animals, I guess. Another says creating a safe, forward-moving, affordable, and desirable environment. Another says higher salaries to support the cost of living. Another says better dating pool, LOL. All jokes aside, the ability to provide a quality life, home, and schooling. And then another response says fix the cost of living. Who wants to pay $1,300 a month for childcare? And then have to feed, house, and entertain the child. That's an additional $2,500 per month. So it seems like everyone's focused on the cost of living. Seems the consensus to addressing Bermuda's decline in births is the cost of living.
I see that, Jamal, but of course, trying to change the cost of living is going to be a difficult task, right? And someone did mention in their European countries. I know for a fact European countries give you stipends, subsidize, and do all kinds of things to allow you to have babies.
I'm sorry. I'm stuck on what you just said, cost of living, and everybody's saying it. I guess my follow-up question to everyone who's saying cost of living, how does that work? How do you address the cost of living? I think that's the follow-up question. If you've said that, if you believe that, how do we do that? Let's go to the audience real fast. Sam Capital says, the only way to address it is with the cost of living and then opportunities that exist on this island. What is it that younger folk have interest in? Government can't get their act together, and they are running the government as if they're going to be alive forever. They are not considering the next generation and their needs. No, they're not running it as if they're going to be alive forever. They're running it as if they know they're not going to be in those positions forever. That's how they're running the government. And so they're getting what they can while they can. Forget the next generations. I agree with that. Michelle White says individuals are becoming more independent and want more for themselves. They will likely have children later and less children. Tanya Cheeseman says Canada gives up to 50 weeks paid pregnancy and parental leave. These benefits can split between parents. Ontario is 17 weeks.
Let's go to Canada. See how easy that was for me to say that?
Yeah. I mean, Whoopi and them said they were going there if Trump won the election. He did. Nobody went north. But anyway, it's interesting. This is an interesting conversation. It's a very interesting conversation. I don't think there's any right or wrong answers. But for all who have said cost of living, I'm interested in how we'd accomplish that. How do you address that? How do you fix that? Right? How do you say, okay, I don't know, without price controls, without government intervening in big business, I'm not quite sure how it works. I'm ignorant to it, so let me know.
We import everything. It would be difficult to change the cost of living. I would love for the cost of living to change, but in being realistic about it, there's the likelihood of that happening is far and few between. We import everything, which means then.
But it's because of imports. Let's use the United States for an example. The U.S. cost of living is not rising or high because of imports. The U.S. cost of living is high and is rising because those in charge want to make more money.
And the difference between the two is that we have options, Jamal, whereas Bermuda's options are very, very limited. If you want to get bread from one store, you can. If not, you could get on the street and find it a little bit cheaper. Where is that flexibility in Bermuda?
Yeah, but it's relative, Sherry, because even though you can get it cheaper, it's still gonna be high based on what that person was paying for that cheap piece of bread 2 weeks ago. So
I get it.
So I'm just saying, like folks, I'm very defensive of business. I don't think businesses are the big bad wolf. So I actually agree with Sherry. But what I'm playing just devil's advocate really is the cost of living isn't just determined by, imports or outside factors. Sometimes, a CEO is in a position, right? And the CEO is literally, regardless of circumstances, most times their one focus is to make more money than they did the last year.
Yeah.
Right. And if they don't, they know their job's in jeopardy. It has nothing to do with the staff or the clients or whatnot. It literally has something to do with making more money than they did the year before. So in order to do that, sometimes they may have to they're going to raise prices and, make excuses that this, that, and the other. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying that's the case in all things. I'm just saying that we need to consider more than just, the imports of things per se. Now in Bermuda, we have the other problem, labor, right? Labor is a big thing. If you want cheaper groceries, well, the people at the grocery store still got to be paid, and we can't pay them next to nothing because they need to eat and survive, right?
It's a vicious cycle.
It is a vicious cycle. The thing is sometimes you ask, is capitalism working for everyone or working for a few? We also have to say, is it in the best interest still today? Now, I'm not advocating socialism or any type of thing. Let me be clear with that. I'm just saying there's certain questions we have to ask. How can Bermuda address its decline in births, folks? That is the question. Michelle White says there is no encouragement to have children, lifestyle versus children. If there was more support for the working parent, reducing the stress of finances, one may likely have more. Andre Smith says Canada also takes nearly 50% of one's salary in taxes. I mean, they take 40% of mine here. Shucks. I'm just saying, depending on what state. Again, and that's a balance, though, Evandre. It's a balance because there are a lot of people who wouldn't mind having that there's that amount of deductions taken out if they knew it gave them secure health or opportunity to be parents. I mean, it's a give take, right? What would you rather have? The land of the free, where literally you'll die without any health insurance or die because you can't be seen, or would you take those deductions? It's I don't think there's a right answer. It's a do what you feel like is in your best interest.
But it definitely has people running to say, let me have a baby.
Yeah. Look, I don't want any deductions. I saw this a meme, Sherry. I might have shared it, where it says, think about this. We go to work to make money for the government to take it from us that we earned, right? And you see where I'm going with this. Bottom line is, I don't mind paying taxes because at the end of the day, it's supposed to take care of the roads. It's supposed to, help, the environment. Financially, it should be put back into the country, the community, and so on. And also, there are people who just are unable to take care of themselves, disabilities, and so on. So I believe that we should pay taxes on some level. I just wish we had more of a say of where our tax monies went to and how they were spent. I don't believe in paying for billionaires with my tax money. I don't believe in building stadiums and to keep events or spending big money to bring them. No, I don't believe in that. So I just wish I had more of a say. Charles H. Jefferson II says the best way to address the cost of living is to increase the population, chicken, or the egg. Well, I mean, some guys tried that a few years ago and then they marched on Parliament, and then now some other guys are trying it, and all of a sudden nobody knows how to get their majorette stick out in their drums and march anymore, right? You know how that goes. Michelle White says children cost is out of control, but they must charge the way they do because of other economic prices. It's a vicious cycle. How can we get back to the concept of bartering?
Interesting.
I love a good barter. Ebony Souza says land tax, mortgage breaks for homeowners renting to Bermudians, incentives to lower rents or keep properties in a local market. Folks, again, the question, how can Bermuda address its decline in births? We've got Sean DeShield says, take a page out of Sweden's handbook by subsidizing childcare for everyone. Folks, I love these things. But your broke ass government, well, they gonna say they got no money.
But we also have to look at these, when we look at these different countries, and my reference would be Denmark, where my cousin lives. They also live with their basic needs.
Right.
That's the other part that I think we're also missing. Everyone's not, dressed a certain way or got these labels or these name brands, and everyone's kind of living a basic life. Hence, there's also no competition for in your mind that you have to look a certain way either or have certain things. They are living this basic life. So that's the other part I think we miss in Bermuda in regard to just kind of living a simple life without having to show up and show out differently.
Yeah, I mean, everybody got that Louis. Yeah, no, I get you. I think culturally things will have to change on a personal level for many individuals. I am concerned about just the lack of people. I think Bermuda is not in a position. Look, just look at the hotel situation. We have no leveraging power. We don't have anything to leverage. So we have to give up the hotel and some green space. At the end of the day, I know some people were upset with Sir John. And by the way, folks, Sir John will be back on the show very soon. He's looking forward to coming. But some people were upset with Sir John Swan recently, basically saying, let the project go ahead. We complain 1 minute when we don't have any, and this is something that's happening. I get him. I do. Because Bermuda doesn't have any leveraging power. Like, you look every day, folks, if you just looked up like different developments taking place all around the world, everyone's building except Bermuda. But again, I think I said to Maya when we were in Vegas, and I said to Maya, I said, if you were a hotel developer and you walked down this strip in Vegas and you had an opportunity to build a hotel, and then Bermuda approaches you, right? You really think you're going to build a hotel here or Bermuda? Where do you think you have a better chance of making your money back? That's what it really is all about. And so Bermuda needs people. Obviously, I agree there needs to be incentives for people to have children, to increase the population. It's not as easy as it once was. There's a big gap between the haves and have-nots, and it seems to be growing. But it's something that I think the government probably needs to address sooner rather than later. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back. Obviously, it's Monday, so you've got your extended news break. I just want to give a round of applause again. Maya probably got like an hour's sleep up to getting these stories ready for you all. So please show her some love when she comes in after this break. We'll be back and see what she has in store for us. I'm quite sure she had fun this weekend and she's going to bring Sherry and I up to speed. Right, Sherry?
Yep.
Yeah, whatever. Nobody had more fun than your party ass.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dendy Town Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Sherry Vanderpool, I'm Jamel Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Without further ado, let's bring in Maya for Monday's extended Daily Hour news break.
Good morning, good morning.
Well, good morning. Happy Monday to you, madam.
Happy Monday.
Hi, Maya girl.
Morning, Sherry.
Hey, my girl.
That went for you.
Yeah, that was weird.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Very.
Maya, let's. Did you want to add something to this morning's discussion? Anything from what your people are saying?
Actually, I do want to add to the discussion. I remember having this discussion with the Media Maya community, like maybe a year or 2 years ago, when it was noted that we had more deaths than birth rates. And I remember something distinctively that I think a few people were saying, like, number one, maybe people are realizing, especially firstborns, that they don't want to have children who their children are raising their children because the family home is broken, type thing. So they would either not have children or just have one because they know the burden of what it's like to, raise their siblings and they don't want that. Or the second one was also, and this could be controversial, but it was like, fix your broken families. Because we used to have a time in Bermuda where, yes, we all used to stay in the family homestead, and now we're so eager, I don't know if it's my generation, but eager to do everything on our own, maybe because we feel like we have to, but we're leaving the homes. And I was thinking about, like, even my family situation. I was like, wow, we all live like separately, but like we could technically still live all together in the family home, but we don't. So it's just like things like that. Like if you were able to fix that, economically, it would be better, because then the family will be raising the children, grandparents who are there, or mothers or whomever that can, instead of having to send them to nursery and spend $1,300 a month. Like, just things like that could fix and help.
It's interesting because I've seen people for this argument kind of say, the solution to this is the nuclear family, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, that opens up a whole nother thing because it goes into so many different things. But is the nuclear family, is capitalism built for the nuclear family? Meaning, two-income household. I mean, is that even enough anymore? Because what I think people fail to realize, you can have a two-income household that still makes less than one income household. Like, I don't think that's necessarily the answer if we really think about it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know what you're saying. I think the point was like, you have family homes that literally have your grandparents there, your parents, your cousins might be around, like that type of family homestead that most comedians do kind of have, like that one big house that is your family homestead, but like we all live separately somewhere else.
Because we don't get along, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's broke down.
And that's what I'm saying. That's something that needs to be fixed. I remember someone mentioning that to me, and I was just like, I guess that would help financially, especially when you have a village to actually help raise a child instead of being so disconnected like we have been now today.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely think it'll take a lot of sacrifice. But what I will say is I don't, and this is the hard part, don't jeopardize your mental peace and health for the financial. I know it sounds rough because some people would rather risk that for financial well-being, but I'm gonna tell you folks, your mental state is just as important. And if you're not in a good mental space, how are you gonna be great financially anyway, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, over to you, Maya.
Oh, good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour Newsweek brought to you by People's Pharmacy. And unfortunately, starting out the news, not so great news, because last night there were actually two collisions that happened on the roads. The first one happened around 4:15 p.m. and police were dispatched to report of a 3-vehicle collision on Somerset Bridge. Initial reports suggest that a female riding a motorcycle was overtaking a line of traffic headed west, and she collided with a taxi and a van traveling in the opposite direction. Both the rider and her female pillion passenger were reported to be injured. Injuries sustained are not believed to be serious. However, both women were transported to the hospital for treatment.
All right. Wishing them both a speedy recovery, and thankfully it was not worse.
Yes. The one that happened later on the night yesterday, so around 9:25 p.m., was a bit worse, as the male motorcycle rider was actually transmitted to the hospital and is currently in the ICU. So wishing him a speedy recovery.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, coming up next in the news, so April 22nd was Earth Day, and you would recall that we actually landed back in Bermuda on Thursday. And immediately when I landed home, my family decided, let's go to the airport waste facility management, which I have not been in years. And so I was able to actually get a story there from a Mr. Stacey Simpson, who has worked there for about 20 years. So here's a little insight, because you might not have been thinking about what happens to the tires of your car or your bike when you change it, but here's where they go.
Tires?
Yeah, where do tires go?
So the tires, what we're doing now, the concrete trucks are coming in and they pull the concrete and we cover it over. So we're covering all the roof, that over. See up top here, we're taking the rubble and we're covering over the matter here. And that's how we make all this. We cover with all the rubble, the machine scratch it out, and pretty soon we'd be, this all this year, it would be up there. That's how we keep going. We keep going and going and going.
Have you ever wondered what happens to broken cars, or to the old tire on your bike when you get a new one? Or even the old pair of golf clubs your family threw out instead of donated? Well, most of it ends up at the airport waste facility, a facility literally built from trash.
They can't build on this because it's all trash and field, yeah. Because at first, you know when you come into the office, that's where it was. The dump was way back there at first. So we just come way out and out and out.
So all this land that we're driving on right now is just trash
Before,
over the years.
it was water. All this was water at first. Believe it or not, this was water. As you can see, all that's going out. I guess when you come back again, that would be way out there. There was that water, and we just keep pushing trash, and it builds up.
Mr. Simpson has been working as a part of the management waste team for about 20 years. He says he sees more than 100 trucks a day dumping waste.
We're going out that way, because we have to keep our opening going around to the airport in case of emergency.
You may recall years ago, people used to come to the dump to collect car parts or repurposed items people trash. But now there are signs warning people against coming into the space. Mr. Simpson says it's because the workers had to keep searching for people when it was time to close, and because it started to get dangerous.
Car over the back. I knew you could see them.
Yes, I saw the cars.
Yeah. They'll come down there and take over whatever they can, and you know, started to be a nuisance because they was always in the way. You know, when you trying to get through with the big trucks, couldn't get through and all that, and so we had to make up a sign saying no more, you know, getting trash or getting car parts and all that. So that was that.
I asked Mr. Simpson what it's like working at the facilities outdoors.
It gets, you know, a lot of dust. During the summer, right now it's kind of wet. You get the dust and all that. Then during the winter, you get the curl and all that. Yeah, kind of challenging working down there. You're in the coolness, then you're in the hot sun and all that. So, yeah.
Now you know what happens to your old washing machine when you get a new one. It becomes piled up and under to increase the man-made land at the airport facilities, which can never be built on. And this structure is not a permanent fix for the waste we accumulate in Bermuda. There is a limit to how far the waste can expand in our clear waters.
You see down there in the water, you see like a shadow?
Yeah.
That's a old boat.
That's an old boat down
The old boat.
So old boats go down there too?
Yeah, old boats, yeah. When they come in, sometimes they bring them in from out there, and we bring them and sink them right there. So, yep.
So first thing, you got right off the airplane and went right to work?
Basically, yes. That's exactly what happened. There's always an opportunity to find a story somewhere. When we got there, I was just like, well, I might as well ask.
Jet lag. You're something else.
Is it, man? Honestly. But I want to say this, and that's, look, that's an incredible story because I remember when I was young, was it Snorkel Park that used to be the dump up dockyard? I think. Yeah, and I remember going up there with my great grandfather, and I remembered this down there. And I always used to joke, so if they're adding land down at the airport, does that mean we're bigger than 21 square miles? Like, I literally, that's just the way my mind used to work. But I never knew, Maya, until just now that they'll never be able to build on it. I honestly thought it was going to be landfill, and then they would be able to, you know, one day, you know, they'll be able to put a structure or something on that. That's interesting.
I'm just concerned about the amount of waste that it's the amount. And I'm like, you're moving out into the waters. Like, I had no idea. So definitely thank you, Maya. But I'm just concerned about the amount of waste.
Well, also real quickly, not just the amount of waste, but a reminder to people that that's where your stuff should go, not those dumping sites that you're being used.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mishka Fabla just ruined things for anyone planning on going somewhere. He says Snorkel Park has the sewage treatment plant next to it. Yeah, I don't go swimming up there. Anyway.
I did want to also add from that story, Mr. Simpson said that he believed that that we have probably like 10 to 20 years of utilizing that space. So something needs to happen next as to what's going to happen with all the trash we accumulate. I think this story really points out, like, if you have something that you can still use it. And if you can donate it, donate it. What made me and my family actually follow, and we asked permission to be able to go back there, was the fact that this truck came in and he had all these beautiful new office chairs. And I'm like, what are you doing with that? And he was like, it's a dump. It was like, it's my third time up here today. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. And then, like, I didn't tell my family, we didn't have no space left in the vehicle. And then they were like, no, we gotta go get one of these chairs. I'm like, you know what? I could use a new chair because this thing keeps falling every 10 seconds. And then we went to go find them, and literally, like, it wasn't even like 2 minutes, and it already had been crushed and piled on. And we're like, oh, like, we missed it. But it just made us think, like, look at all this stuff around here, and
Couldn't
that can be taken.
Find a day that people could come and so that they can shop down there. I remember back in the day, people used to go down there to get things. Yeah, especially car parts. I wonder if there's like
brand
once
new
a
tires
month
up there.
Yeah, like once a month, people could come or something so that we can refurbish these things.
That would be
my stepdad always quoted Macy's. That's what I remember.
Yes, it has so many, like, useful stuff up there. And I did ask him, like, does he believe that this is sustainable? He didn't really have a clear answer in that, but like, it's like, this is what we do, like, kind of the answer.
thank you for that word, because as you're talking, as I watched the story, all I was thinking about is sustainable development. And I wonder, Mr. Brown, the late Walton Brown's brother, was in charge of the sustainability in Bermuda about 15 years ago. I haven't heard many conversations of whether there's still a person in charge in government of it. Folks in the audience, let me know. But maybe it's time to have a conversation about sustainable development again when it comes to Bermuda. I mean, could it be possible to get an agreement where we ship our trash out? Are we producing more trash than any other country per capita? I don't know any of that stuff, but I think this is a great story to start the topic of sustainable development.
I think when KBB was on here, and when we did do that cleanup, they mentioned that anything that we do recycle does get shipped away. So just recycle your materials. And I do believe some money does come back to the island from recycled materials. Anyways, continuing on with the next story. I know we can talk about sustainability forever and things we can do to make things better. But coming up next, last week we spoke about underrepresented sports on the island, and you guys threw in some names of like what sports you believe are either underrepresented or even underfunded. And I'm not too sure, so if anyone actually mentioned karting. Go-karting, the Grand Prix that we just had over the weekend. But over the weekend, this race happened, and the race was the first to happen in Bermuda since 2017. So it has been some time. But I got behind-the-scenes footage of the president and a racer, Barbosa, who actually showed me the inner workings of the kart. So here's a quick story for you guys on what happened at the event.
I got into it when I was like 10 years old. Actually, my dad bought me a fun kart that I used to drive around on the grass in my parents' yard. And then the Bermuda Karting Club started back up in '97, and thought I'd give it a go, and I just fell in love with the sport. Love racing, love speed, love adrenaline, and I've been hooked ever since, 27 years later. But yeah, we're excited to put these shows on and show more Bermudians what go-kart it's all about. It's a dangerous sport, it's motorsports, but we try to make it as safe as possible. That's obviously my goal as the president, is to make sure everyone walks away from this weekend safe. So that's the main thing.
Skitchy Barnes is president of the Bermuda Karting Club and has also represented Bermuda internationally in the sport.
This is the Bermuda Karting Club. We race down on Southside on a regular basis, Rubis Southside Raceway in St. David's. And this is 100% Bermuda Karting Club presented event. We are a charity with this event with Bermuda Cancer and Health Center. So all the proceeds that we make for this race will actually go to that charity.
The Lindo's Grand Prix street race was the first race in Bermuda since 2017.
Yeah, to have all the spectators turn out like they are, and thousands of spectators to be able to see what we love to do, it's great. It's a great sport, and it's a family sport, right? Just because the kids driving, the family's involved. The people need tuners, they need people to work on the karts, get the karts ready for the kids, so the whole family can be involved with it, which makes it great. Bermuda Karting Club's like a family. Everyone kind of helps each other. It's a real family vibe.
The family can be involved, and you can start karting as soon as 6 years old and all the way to 40 plus, showing that this sport can transcend through anyone's lifetime.
So it's something for everyone, and it's not just for the boys too. We got a couple girls involved. We've had many girls through the years come through the sport, so it's not just a guy sport. It's for girls and guys, young, old. It's for everyone.
David Barbosa just finished first place in his heat, and he gave me a deeper look into the makings of the karts.
These are all made in Italy, and they're imported. So it's a business hobby that I do. It's a single speed gearbox. It's a single speed. The engines cannot be touched at all. They're sealed engines. They're roughly about 50 miles an hour in certain tracks. So it's all driverability. It's a learning. It's a budget class. It's very, very competitive.
That looks so fun that I don't think I could actually do it and take it seriously. Like, it just reminds me of something I just want to do. Like, I'm away from the world and I'm just here. Yeah, I couldn't do it.
It looks fun. You could do it. You meet the height requirements for it. I'm sure of it, but you should be able to do it. Myself, I probably feel like I'll get stuck in there. I'll be on the opposite end, Jamal. Just so you know.
On a Monday, see, you see that?
I do want to mention, I thought it was really interesting that I think they weigh the vehicles with the person inside of it as well. I saw that happening for the kids. I can't remember if they were inside it when they weighed it or not, but I wish I would have asked more about that because, like, what is the weight requirement for each race? Like, things like that, like, especially with being on that vehicle. So it's quite interesting, especially since they can start at 6 years old and keep going all the way past the age of 40. Like, anyone could literally start this. So it's interesting.
It is. It looked like a lot of fun. I did see on, Instagram and WhatsApp statuses that it was a wonderful community event, and people have been waiting for this to return. So that's lovely. I love it.
It's a good thing she watched it. Anyway, what else you got for us, man?
Well, keeping with the theme of sports, I have an interview with Kamiko Smith coming up very soon on Wednesday. But here's a quick promo for you guys. I think would probably maybe shock you a little bit about the game of golf. Just support wise, and then the amount of work that you're putting into this, it's definitely necessary for you to get full-time sponsorship because it's hard to like perform at an elite level when you still have that hanging over your head as well.
Yeah, it's really hard because when you think about it, it's like, well, hey, I'm only got $2,000 left in my bank account, and man, I'm only a couple months into the season, just starting to feel good, and then you have to return back, and you get set back, and you got to start all over again. So mentally, it whacks you, and even if you are playing a tournament, it's like, hey, the pressure of I got to do well so I can make some money, which is fine, but it helps when you have a bit of finances in your account.
Financial backing.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you know what? I can give it 1,000% and go at this, and I know I can feed myself or have somewhere to stay. I mean, sleeping in cars in parking lots, not fun.
You've done that? I did want to ask if you're cool with talking about it. Like, have you ever encountered or experienced racism while playing professional out there?
Jackie Robinson, I mean, he did it. You know, he had a thick skin. And that's one of my favorite guys I look up to is Jackie Robinson. He did it for baseball, and he did it for sport, and he did it for black people. I mean, he took it. And you have to have a thick skin, and I think I have that thick skin. Golf is a massive networker. I've met a lot of really cool people through golf. Sports people, business people, CEOs, and also just building relationships with people, friendships, long-term friendships with people. That's been a big thing with golf.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. When are you releasing the whole conversation?
Wednesday.
It was so cool that he was in the golf cart. That part for me, I was like, I like that.
And he actually did show me around. I believe he was in Florida at the time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, makes sense. You know, all Cher's got is the Masters, but we have everything else. But anyway, but no, seriously, I think there's an underlying concern, and we've discussed it on this show many times, and I'm gonna keep pushing for it. You know, Sancha and I had this conversation probably yesterday. We have it all the time. We legit, her and I have this one conversation all the time about finding funding for athletes, right? I've been about it since Larry Marshall Jr. won Bermuda Day in 2007, and I just feel bad because I've never been able to fulfill that. But Dej, Kamiko, there are so many that I'm just like, there's enough money in Bermuda to help these guys. And it's not to say the opposite side is gang violence. What I'm simply saying is these are people. And there are women out there too, but I'm just focusing on these two in particular because Maya's done stories on them recently, Dej and Kamiko, they're gems of our community. Like they're literally people who just need a bit of support to reach the heights that Bermuda probably hasn't seen in their sport. So I'm looking forward to the entire conversation. Maya, thank you so much for going out there and getting this. And I want to see what he has to say about one thing in particular a bit more. I won't let you know what that is.
And go out and support.
Yeah. I think it did shock me a bit hearing that, you know, Kamiko I see as someone who is regularly used when it comes to Bermuda golf. And I just like, you've slept in your car during games. Like you don't have the funds to use the hotel, you know, because like you gotta choose and refuse where you want to stay. And like imagine trying to sleep in your car and the next day you're playing in an elite match. That's not comfortable. How are you gonna even get a good night's sleep? But like there's sacrifices that unfortunately need to be made if you don't have that financial backing. But the whole conversation was really eye-opening to me just to learn about it, because you think of golf as this elite, rich white men's sport. Like that's how I always saw it. So to have this conversation with Kamiko about his experience, it's just like it was
It's
eye-opening.
how you saw it or how it is. I'll just
Very
say
much
it.
how it is, but hopefully changing. I mean,
Yes.
just doing more research about golf, learning about the Caucasian ban, like the only whites can play, it was lifted for the PGA Tour in 1961. So it's not that far away even. So it was just learning and listening was quite a lot for the game of golf.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, here's a reminder for you guys as I want to close up the news. I'm sorry, it's been quite an extended news, but just about your money, make sure that you deposit it or exchange it. All those horizontal notes, get rid of them before the next year of 2024. And the weather today is looking a bit cloudy, but with a bright start. So gradually setting a little bit of winds as well, but we have a high of 72 degrees Fahrenheit.
Sherry, what you got for days of the year?
Well, today is Scream Day, actually. And so self-care is important, but it doesn't always mean good smelling candles, bubble baths, and meditations. Sometimes you just need a good scream. Sounds silly at first, but the day has its merits. Modern day hustling has led us to a lot of pent-up anxiety and pressure, which we all need a healthy way to channel. So releasing built-up frustrations through screaming is surprisingly calming for the brain. Happy Scream Day.
I thought it was Scream as in the movie, but okay. All right. You know what else today is? You know what else today is? Today is the release Rusty G by Wayne released this morning. Go copy. Go on whatever platform you use. Check it out. I actually really like it. This is not to say I didn't like Full Stop, but I think that's an anthem. That's a party anthem. It's really a unifying song. So that's your little clip from us. What was your question, Sherry?
I said, do you go to soca parties, or have you been, or do you like?
Have I been?
Yeah.
You serious? I mean, when I was younger, I was at every party. Yeah. I mean, nothing like what's his name? My boy down Tiger Bay every year. You know, I mean, that was my place. You know, you couldn't complete a summer in Bermuda without Byron Lee. Soca was my thing. Like that was my music. I was not a dancehall fan per se. But
Grandpa,
you know, I got older and you know,
knees started hurting.
I'm just saying my knees don't work like they used to, you know. But anyway,
but I see you run into this. And stuff.
Yeah. Definitely. Honestly, I love this song. Rusty, I'm telling you, you could trust me, bro. When I said it, called you out, I had a month to wait. On March 24th, you sent me the song, and honestly, I am a fan, folks. Cop it. What are your thoughts? I mean, Maya, you were bouncing. What's happening?
I love a good vibe, a good beat that keeps you thinking about summer and being on somebody's boat, and just like good vibes, happy people type song. So yeah, that's what it's given.
All of Maya said.
Let us know, audience. What are your thoughts? You like the new joint? You gonna cop it? Maya, thank you so much. Another great news break. We'll see you soon.
Bye, Maya.
All right, folks. Do not go anywhere. We're gonna take a quick break. Come back. We're gonna wrap it up. Got the daily play for you as well. One Blood. That's what the song's called. One Blood. Rusty G. Fire Wing. Go check it out.
Hi, welcome to ER Fisheries. I'm Jalen Steed, store manager and trained chef, and I'm here to help you with all of your food needs. let's talk about why you should come and check out ER Fisheries. We offer the widest range of specialty meats and seafood items at a price point that will absolutely fit your budget. As a chef, I'm able to answer all of your food questions, help you come up with meal ideas, and generally guide you in the right direction. You'll get a custom shopping experience unlike any other food store in Bermuda, where we'll cater to your needs and provide you with excellent customer service. Where else can you get quality cooking advice and quality products? I look forward to helping you with all your meal ideas.
All right, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. And also, thank you so much to Maya for her extended news break, bringing you all stories that you just won't get anywhere else. I mean, her dedication and commitment right off the airplane to get a story for us about what's happening down there at the waste facility at the airport. Folks, it's time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Sherry, are you ready?
No.
Okay, let me know, man.
All right, good.
Oh, you ready? Okay, cool. Sherry's ready, folks. All right, here's the quote. It's who said it today. All right, folks. Help her out. What I will say is it is the NBA playoffs currently. The NBA playoffs are currently taking place. Who is this famous quote attributed to? Quote, heart is what separates the good from the great. End quote.
Who said it, or who's it talking about? Because you said attributed to Michael Jordan.
My goodness, she got it. Shucks.
I was about to go down the list.
But how the whole the thing's called a who said it? What are you talking about? Well, who said it or who's it about? It's who said it.
You said who it's attributed to.
Yeah, who's the quote attributed to?
Anyway, I got it. Close your eyes, Jamal.
Shucks. Thank you, Kathy. She probably thought, what would Kathy say? And then she went with Michael Jordan. My goodness. Anyway.
Such a hater. Just mad that I got it on a Monday with my one shoulder out.
Yeah, she cheated. Folks, if you appreciated today's conversation, discussion, and especially the news break by Maya, and don't forget, she's releasing the entire conversation with Kamiko Smith on Wednesday. But give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the link in your WhatsApp group from YouTube or our website. Sherry, final thoughts on today's discussion. Obviously, the declining birth rate in Bermuda, but also Maya's stories.
So I think we gave a lot of great suggestions for the decline in birth rate. Again, it's the consistency and follow through and being able to be patient to let some things kind of sort itself out. But I think incentives is probably kind of the best way to go about it. Cost of living at this point it's very difficult to try to figure that part out. But hey, go out there and make some babies, guys. Just joking. But as far as Maya, I love her stories. Thanks for telling us about, the waste and what that looks like and what happens. Because honestly, Jamal, I did not know. But I do think there's some lessons we can take from that or work with in regard to just Bermuda and so forth. Like, let's have a day where we can go down there and do some sustainable, some refurbishing of goods and so forth. And Kamiko Smith, I can't wait to hear that story. So hats off to Maya.
Yeah, for sure. I'll say this much. I think a lot of people's concern is the cost of living. I'm not quite sure how you fix that without attracting more people to Bermuda. You literally have to, as I think Charles H. Jefferson II said. The question is, how does Bermuda do that when we don't necessarily have the leverage that other jurisdictions have? So that is a solution to one. You bring down the cost of living by bringing more people, then maybe people will have more children. I don't know the answers. That's just a suggestion or an idea based on the current situation. As far as Maya's stories, I mean, she really brought to light something about sustainability. We picked up trash with KBB. KBB, Tracy Burgess and her crew, with the backing of Wilmot Trucking, out there doing a thing, right? I say it all the time, and I say it in good faith that, we should be doing good enough to have no need for charity. That's the real of it. And so we've got work to do as a community. Stop being so wasteful. Like I think Sherry said it earlier, throwing stuff away that might be still good. Someone else can use it. Let's do better. And again, as she just said with Kamiko, I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you, Maya, for really going out and getting these stories. I love the go-karting as well, because there's always been this thing, there's nothing to do in Bermuda. Folks, props to Lindos. I know they were a part of it. It's an activity, it's fun, and I'm glad that Bermuda is able to have something for people to enjoy, especially where it took place. Sherry, you've got some daily inspiration for us?
Yes, and our daily inspiration is being brought to you by ER Fisheries. Be a reflection of what you'd like to receive. If you want love, give love. If you want truth, be truthful. If you want respect, give respect. What you give out will always return. And that's from Kristen Butler.
Oh, I like that one. Give out what you want to receive. You can't expect people to show you love if you're not showing it to them. Folks, we have a big week coming up, some awesome guests, human rights tomorrow, dental health. Yeah, you all know I don't do bad breath. I didn't tell you about that guy on the treadmill last week in Vegas. Oh my goodness, bro, brush him before you come down to the gym. I swear. But we've got some great conversations coming up. Clyde Bass, MBE, he will be on More Than a Footballer, folks. And then we'll round it out with Dealing with Stress with Ask the Doctor, North Shore Medical's Dr. Catherine Dale. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we were to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. My friends, please do make it a safe and make it a great day. We are out.